Her name is Alice. What's up?
I mean, I've had people beat their meat off to me before, but not beat the bongos. Hey.
Oh, there it is. Just right out the gate.
It's been a long day, Cory. It's been a long day.
My little sister showed me this video the other day. It's like her boyfriend's nephew is like a really big wrestling fan, and he might be like 6 or something. And he took all his toys, and like he had this ring, and he like did like this like kind of a stop motion animation with all his toys like fighting it out in a Royal Rumble style match. And every time a new person came out, he's like, "There's Braun Strowman right out the gate!" Like, it was the cutest little thing. I just love the enthusiasm, the markness. I just love the being a fan. I just love anyone has like passionate fandom of things. That's what I was going to talk to you about. The passionate fandom that you've got.
Of what exactly?
of the plot holes and
the holes and the plot holes of porn.
The holes and the plot holes of porn. So it was funny, man. I was just talking to my friend today, and I was like, "Oh yeah, her podcast is called Two Girls, One Mic," and he was like, "Ew, like that video? Did you watch that video?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've seen it." And he was like, "You're gross. Why did you watch it?" And it became a whole like how gross I am for having. But when that was a thing, it was like a phenom. You know, it was a phenomenal. People were talking about it. Like people
We're going back to the days of like Goatsy and Tub Girl. Like no one talks about that.
Yeah, I mean, this was 2006 probably when that whole thing happened. So
was it?
Yeah, that's in my memory because I know I worked at the time as a stock boy overnight at Target. And the people that I worked with, the guys were talking about it, and they were like, "Oh, you didn't see Two Girls, One Cup? You didn't see Two Girls? Dude, look up Two Girls, One Cup." So I had to wait until I got home because I didn't have a smartphone yet. So I had to be in my brain for me to get home and type it in and be like, it was
2007. You're right. Jeez. But it's funny. People do ask me sometimes. They're like, "Are you related to Two Girls, One Cup?" And
dumb.
Obviously no. But to those people that choose to ask, I just say yes because then they ask more questions. Like, let's be honest. I mean, this could have been easily answered if you just Googled me. But sure.
Yeah, I mean. It's way easier to just play along with people not knowing, like not really having a grasp on like any kind of expertise, even any accidental expertise. It's like, okay, cool. I'll just give you the answer I think you probably want here, because you know I get a lot of questions myself, not about like porno or anything. People, I'm not the source. Yet. I'm not the source for people's information. What is it like carrying that responsibility to be people's resource for the expertise on pornography? What is that that burden? What is that weight that you carry?
Oh man, what is that burden? Kind of non-existent. So if anything, it's definitely a great party conversation. So my normal friends, now it's funny because my friends who know me pre-porn, and funny enough, so just to be clear to the audience, I've never been in the adult industry before. This was actually something that me and my former co-host Yvette D'Entremont, we were shooting the shit one day. And then somehow we got into the concept of reviewing the porn and plot because we realized we both did the same exact thing, which is when we were watching pornography, we were no longer watching it for the sex. We were like, holy shit, the grout in that bathroom looks awesome. Who did it? That looks like expensive tile work, man.
Now I can speak for myself on this. I don't know if I can for sure speak on your behalf, but when I do go about noticing things like that, I totally get way too distracted to enjoy any of the sex part or any of that. Like the arousal goes way down for me, and it's not really the practical function of porn for me when it comes to that. Like, oh, look, that girl's cat is walking through the picture. What's going on?
Well, what's fascinating for me though is now like I get to come to parties and show my friends it's like, hey, you need to watch this crazy scene from a porno. And I'm not even kidding. We'll pull up a projector screen or a TV and start like casting to that screen of like a scene from a porn, but it's like the acting we'll watch. So for example, like last night, I was talking to my Quasar for an upcoming episode. So he's a director of thousands of porn films. You've absolutely seen his work. And we were discussing script writing, and I was describing this one scene where Tommy Pistol, an actor, he walks in and he's like, it's like the babysitter trope, but they took an interesting spin on it where Tommy opens the door and he's like, where's my son? Oh, your friends came and picked him up. Who? Well, they were all wearing uniforms that said CPS. CPS Child Protective Services took my son.
Way too fast of a so much like, oh yeah, they must have got a tip from the neighbors that you're a bad parent.
So the fact is that like I started watching porn for the plot, and there was just so much humor. There was so much untapped comedy that no one was discussing. And then it was really this. I mean, my co-host and I, we both came from the world of skepticism and science, and we're both really big nerds. And we realized that there's a lot of misinformation, there's a lot of pseudoscience, there's a lot of things that people just aren't talking about when it comes to this industry, that frankly reflect so many other things in the world, whether we're looking at social media, censorship, legislation, health, immigration, you name it. It just a lot of these things touch porn first, or the adult industry first in general, and then we kind of see the reverberations of that, or same if not similar things happening in the mainstream. But it hit there first, anywhere from like 6 months to 3 years ago. Right. So it's been a wild ride, being the source of, continuing information for people to, hey, here's this crazy scene that you like. For example, the episode that actually I need to release for this coming week is we watched a Karate Kid porn, which is just as poorly executed as you would imagine.
I mean, I am imagining, yes, I'm imagining something when you mentioned Karate Kid porn.
And also imagine a white Evan Stone, a comically white actor who is dressing as Mr. Miyagi. Like, let me put it this way: it's not that in porn that they do lack diversity, but no Asians wanted to do that. No, none. Well, you couldn't get them to volunteer to do those scenes.
Yeah, I think that could maybe make you lose some respect with your friends. Like, you think your family and your friends might not have the highest respect for you being in a Karate Kid porn spoof, but then also doing damage to your culture.
You know what? Our white people culture has been damaged enough. I mean, look at gender reveal parties. So we're just, this is not, we're going up from here.
There's no culture in white people.
What do you call brunch?
This is basic shit. This is...
what are dog birthday parties if not white people culture?
I've never heard of a dog birthday. There's like a party. I know that there's like treats that you get for your dog on the. I've never seen someone have an actual party for a dog.
Sir,
maybe I'm missing out. See,
you are missing out.
You get around. You're a bunch of places, and like you were just telling me before we got on that you're trying to live like 2 years in a new place every 2 years, trying to jump to a different location.
Oh, not every 2 years, every month.
Every month. Oh, okay. Well, I'm way wrong. So every month you want to move to a different place.
Yep, and I've been doing that since January 1st.
Oh man. So where have you been?
Savannah, Florida. And I say Florida because so in Florida we wanted to check out Orlando, Miami, and St. Petersburg area, but we didn't want to do 3 months in Florida. So we did like 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, but like we did a month in Savannah, just 2 weeks each in Florida. And then now we're in Atlanta, Georgia for a month. Next is Nashville, then Kansas City, and then Denver, Colorado.
Are you getting Airbnbs?
Yeah.
Are you getting comedy dates? Is there like some clubs or anything that you're doing when you're there?
Funny enough, I am not a comedian.
No. Okay. All right. I just figured that you were.
People always assume I am. Especially since they're like, Alice, you have a porn comedy podcast and your tweets are funny. And you have a product called Offensive Crayons and you put out all like this funny shit. How are you not a comedian? I'm like, because I don't do stand-up.
Well, has it been something you've thought about doing ever?
No.
No? You a fan of stand-up?
I love stand-up. I have plenty of friends who do stand-up. Do I want to do stand-up? No, because I care about my mental health.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a level of balls on the table that comedians have to deal with. Like,
oh yeah, it's easier to do porn than stand-up, I promise you.
Yeah, well, there's no one booing you at porn. No one's heckling you. I mean,
I would love that job.
To be a porn set heckler. Boo! You're a hack.
One day it's we're gonna stream it like it's the Rose Parade. It's like as if I'm gonna start narrating pornography as if they're bringing women out on a float.
Right. Oh look, there's Stewie Griffin.
Oh look, and that's what we call a spread eagle.
So in the each episode that you do, is it like that you're gonna sit down and you're gonna do tons of like homework on who you're going to be having on, and like you're like jumping into like all these intricate details of like who this person is and the decisions they've made that have led them into this life? And what has been the theme that you've noticed in doing that, as far as like the type of lifestyles these people have lived that led them down that road?
Not totally. I mean, really, we have two formats when it comes to an episode. So we'll either do a porn review where we watch the original version of the film and we watch the porn version. And I mean, really, we talk about the acting. And for us, it's we talk about the acting, we talk about the film, and we'll talk about the film facts. Like, listen to it almost like a movie review podcast, but we go on so many tangents. It's really an excuse to go on tangents. And then the second format is we do interviews. So we've had everyone on from like, we had on recently like Eva Lovia, we've had Nina Hartley, we've had Lisa Ann, we've had Evan Stone, Missy Martinez, Kenna James, so many different people in the adult industry, a ton of people in the adult industry.
Mm-hmm.
And when we have conversations with them, we kind of just wing it. Look, I'll check what they're passionate about. And, if there's a specific niche that we want to have a discussion on, like, for example, we had badass Becky who, you know, her whole shtick is feet. So, and she's never done pornography. So discussing, you know, what makes up a foot fetish, what that looks like exactly, what her clientele looks like, what are some of the requests she's getting, how there's a whole spectrum of foot fetishes. We had a masturbation coach on one episode, which is not exactly what you think it is. It's definitely not someone at the edge of your bed with Gatorade telling you to continue masturbating. That's not what it is. It's more of a sex educator. We've had sex educators on the show, and we cover a number of different topics. So there's something for everyone.
What exactly is a masturbation coach?
Oh, so believe it or not, there's a number of people, specifically women, who have a hard time orgasming, and it's actually not that uncommon that, you know, women don't enter into their 20s where they haven't, you know, had an orgasm, which, you know, for guys it's pretty obvious when you do.
Yeah.
But for women it's not the same, and there's so many different ways to have an orgasm or the way it's described that for some people it's just not obvious. So there are sex educators who take the route of helping people figure out the best form of pleasure for them, and working towards that.
So what do you think it is that kind of gets in people's way, or women specifically, in the not having orgasms thing? Is it, you think it's like being in their heads too much? Is it something? I don't want to generalize. Please don't take it like I'm generalizing in any way. But
no.
For people in general, like what do you think the normal obstacle is?
Well, there's a couple things if you think about it. I mean, number one, when was the last time we ever talked about masturbation in sex ed?
No, there's shame associated with it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So a lot of times, you know, really, you know, unless you've learned how to pleasure yourself, you know, sometimes you go into romantic situations, you know, with a partner and you make the assumption of, well, you know, the whole penis vagina thing, you know, that's gonna do the trick. And, you know, for a lot of women, they don't reach, they don't reach orgasm that way. It's very, very few women. I want to say the number's under 15% that actually reach orgasm, you know, via that type of stimulation. It's frankly a majority of the time clitoral stimulation. And that is best achieved through masturbation. And I mean, come on, we've all gotten off or, you know, not been able really to get off because, you know, your head is in a different space, you know. And for women, again, it's sometimes you come into it not knowing what's best for you, because also, I mean, look, people look at porn, they're like, oh my God, does that mean in order for me to reach the big O, I need to be a squirter? And that's not necessarily true for many people. You know, some people do, some people don't. Some people do with some partners. Some people don't with other partners, but still reach it. It does vary depending on the individual. By the way, all squirting you're seeing in porn is absolutely fake. They're just peeing on each other, and you are into that. It's okay. Seriously, they have all drank so much Pedialyte, and it smells like Pedialyte on set. It's all fake.
Well, listen, I come from the world of professional wrestling. I come from the world of I know things are a work. I get it. I've participated in the work I was talking about it today, since I was 14, and now I'm 37. So for the last 22 years, I've participated in the thing that we all say is, people go, you know, that's fake, right? I'm like, yeah, that's no reason to discount. If you like it, for sure, don't shame somebody else. Don't shame somebody else for liking it. It's something they like. This same thing with this piss porn. If that's something you like, don't shame somebody else for liking it.
It's funny. I've for so many of your viewers who are like, I'm not into piss porn, but squirting's hot. It's like, no, you're into piss porn. Shut up. It's okay.
You know what
You're
weirds
allowed.
me out, and I've never clicked on one. I've never watched one, but like the fart videos.
Oh, farting on cakes?
I I never saw farting on cakes, but I saw like
That's
in the
also a thing.
farting on cakes. What does it do though? What is it? What's the stimulation on that?
I don't know, but it's funny. I'm gonna still laugh at it. I don't care. I'm gonna laugh at a lot of things. I will laugh at missionary.
So,
I
do
do
they do
not
anything?
discriminate in my laughter.
Is there anything else done to these cakes, or just farts?
It's mostly the powderier the cake, the better to fart on.
The powder.
I'm not kidding.
Is it a powdery cake?
Sometimes
Oh, what if they put birthday candles on?
makes it even better.
I've never clicked on one of these videos, and I mean,
How about quicksand
curiosity.
porn?
What's that?
How about quicksand porn?
Never heard of it. What
With
is it?
women sink, it's basically exactly what you think it is, where there's women sinking and another may or may not be trying to save the other, and there's a Jew jerking off in the corner in a bush.
Wait. Okay. Does it have to be a Jew?
What?
Did you say
I
there's
said
a
there's
Jew?
a dude.
I thought you said a Jew. I was like, that's oddly specific. If somebody's trying to save somebody from quicksand and there's a Jew in the corner, I don't understand. That's so oddly specific. So a
That
dude.
said, I would probably watch that one too. I don't know. I mean, it's done in California. Their guy's probably Jewish. But but no, it's actually it's women pretending to sink because they're just like in mud, and then they're like, it's like they're pretending. It's really funny. So you should watch quicksand porn just to keep the industry going.
Porn and pro wrestling are so alike. We're like, it's fake, right? You know it's not real, right?
It's also amazing to me, like other things. It's like, have you seen women turn into tables?
You have got me so sure that I don't know anything. I'm so basic and I don't know anything. So what happens with women turning into tables?
Oh, nothing too much. It's just they basically go into kind of a contorted position where they can be positioned kind of as the legs and base of a table, and then a guy or a gal will take we'll take like a glass a tabletop and put it on them, and then just like sit in a chair and put his feet up on her, and that's it.
Okay. Well, do they use coasters?
Sometimes.
Put a coaster down for their beverage. I mean, how does one get off to this?
No, people get off to a lot of things. People get off to your podcast, man.
I hope so.
Yeah. So how do people get off to that?
These are the questions that we need to know.
Want to know another thing that's fake and porn?
Yeah. Tell me the juice. Tell me the deets.
Speaking of juice, all of your semen shots, all of them. It's fake. It's Cetaphil. Specifically all the pretty girl images that you see. So whenever you're seeing a promotional where she's covered in, what looks like male semen, it's not semen. It's not at all. It's Cetaphil. It's the moisturizer. She has soap in her mouth. She has soap in her eyes. She's doing that for you. She's not dirty at all. She's the cleanest she'll ever be.
Okay. So like, I don't know. I'm trying to word this right. Want to articulate the thoughts I'm thinking. So when it comes to like a facial, that's real.
Oh, well, yes. Yes. If it needs to be bigger though, and the cock's not on screen, and you see more of a load going on, but you don't see the cock, it could be fake. Sometimes they'll use like a Nerf gun.
A Nerf gun filled with
Cetaphil.
facial cream. Is that facial cream? I mean, is that
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's like it's a face wash.
okay?
Uh-huh. So sometimes if they need to make the load bigger, even for like cream pie shots, where it's like, all right, he came in, but the load's not big enough for like the camera shot, they'll put more soap in her.
So like in Boogie Nights when he's like, "Oh, you finished inside of her. We didn't get to see. You ruined it. The money shot's gone. You ruined it." And they've made up for that in getting like cream.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to be a male porn performer, that's one of the things that you have to do well is come on command, which is not an easy thing to do necessarily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like what
do you compare that to? Oh, I can't.
I'm sorry. What did you just say before I said that? You could totally be a male porn performer because you can burp the alphabet. It's on the job application.
I actually have a friend who she actually has her own like porno boot camp that she runs people through who want to become porn performers or just want to learn more about pornography or different sexual techniques or how to pleasure a partner in a different way. So yeah, that is definitely something you learn, how to come on command.
How does one become a drill instructor at the porn boot camp?
I mean,
it was just wordplay. I wasn't seriously asking that question.
I mean, a drill instructor, it's in the name. Drop and give me 20. It's
drill sergeant.
You still say the same thing.
So where are we at here?
Did you have like a train of thought you wanted to go through of like, oh, all the topics we're going to cover? No, we're driving this train off the tracks.
No, well, I didn't. What I kind of like to do sometimes is like, I'm very fascinated with your fascination on it and like kind of the path that led you towards it. I'm always fascinated with the resources that connect people to becoming who they're ultimately trying to become. So you are in right now, like I still say this is still the beginning. This is still the beginning for you. It is still the beginning for me when it comes to like, well, I might be at 236 episodes at this point, but like I'm still finding my groove, and I call it evolving because I want it to continue to get better and better by learning different perspectives, and I want to kind of get your perspective on this so that I can understand a little bit better to kind of make myself a little bit better, because this is also something like I haven't ventured to the same thing, like doing comedy and doing wrestling and doing porn, which I haven't done. But I'm saying if all those things are very vulnerable, balls on the table type of things, here I just kind of want to understand what part of that made you go, okay, I'm going to put my balls on the table here and really talk about this is something that people aren't really talking about, and you are venturing to become an expert in it so that you can build your voice up to give people perspective.
Yeah, so I mean, coming from evidence-based science, evidence-based medicine, and from a scientific background, and caring about evidence, it's really frustrating seeing policy decisions being made without actually talking or having insight. And one of the things I kept seeing is the more I started having these conversations with people, that's exactly what was happening, which is a lot of people are legislating without having discussions about these sorts of things or even talking to these individuals. And frankly, I always tell people one of the most discriminated groups today is still anyone involved in the adult industry, which, frankly, people say, well, OnlyFans is so big nowadays and, porn is so big and it's everywhere if you look for it. And I'm like, yeah, but people are still, they're going into the industry, they're making a couple bucks, then they're leaving to pursue other things that they want to. And yet there's a social stigma attached to it. There's stigmas that follow them into, I have friends who can't have a Tinder account or an Airbnb account because not that they were advertising any of their services or using those platforms in an illegal manner. It's just because they were involved in the adult industry and they're discriminated against and therefore they can't be on that platform. Simple as that. Tinder does not allow adult performers on their platform. If you've been in porn, because essentially they tie the metadata for you and they're like, well, this is risky and therefore we're going to shut it down. Doesn't matter if what you did was 100% legal. That does not matter to them. For Airbnb, they have purchased a company that looks and associates all the different metadata with that specific individual. Metadata is basically like, think of that as like a background search and all the tags and information that might be associated with that person. So if they see that, hey, you've been involved in porn, they consider that risky behavior. And it doesn't matter, again, if that behavior was legal or not, they're going to trend on the side of possibly illegal.
What about like jumping through, like what about like stage names and aliases, that even that can be tracked?
We live in an age where people sometimes want to abuse people's anonymity. I mean, how many times do you see people who, they're like, well, their stage name is X, but their real name is blank. Like when Stormy Daniels was a big thing, no one called her Stormy Daniels. They went by her real name in the public sphere. Just, I mean, at the end of the day, they said Stephanie Clifford.
Well, my real name is actually not Cory Kastle. It's Stormy Daniels. So that's pretty funny. No, but my real name is James, not Cory Kastle. It's a stage name, so same deal.
Yeah, but porn performers, I mean, it doesn't matter if you had a stage name. Some people, the point is when it comes to online, or when you're a performer, you want to have a little bit of an anonymity. A number of celebrities in Hollywood, you have some anonymity because you have a stage name. But, they essentially, their line of work, it's like, hey, it doesn't matter if you have a stage name. This is now going to transfer over into your real life. And we're now going to shut down your bank account, even though the activities you worked in were 100% legal. Doesn't matter. So, I like
in their mind somehow it's like a moral compromise, like, so you're somewhat morally bankrupt. So like because your morals don't line up exactly with what their morals are, then you don't have any. That's kind of some grimy ass BS.
It's that, and also, I mean, there's a number of stereotypes. Look, don't get me wrong, there's risky transactions, but I mean, when it comes to illegal behavior, we look for it in the easiest scapegoat possible, which is like, oh, let's just look at the adult industry because, yeah, sure, maybe there's something illegal going on there. We don't look at industries like, for example, the seafood industry, where, you have mass corporations and billion-dollar industries like Unilever, where they're, where on the lowest scale possible, there's human trafficking, there's slavery going on, there's a number of horrible black market shit that you would imagine of the worst, and yet we do nothing when it comes to these industries. We find the easy scapegoats, which, because of we've kind of come from a bit of a puritanical society. It's like, porn, adult, yeah, sure, yeah, so like that's why I, fight so hard for porn. Being kind of between the crayons and, seeing all the First Amendment stuff and how I've been, censored and shut down for satire, and seeing how these people are being censored and shut down, and seeing all the disinformation that surrounds this industry. Yeah, I want to debunk as much as possible, Yeah, I want to have fun with it and do it in an easy to listen to way, which is comedy, because the easiest way to have conversations about anything is via comedy. But yeah, I want to have the tough discussions because this affects real people every day.
Yeah, because if you're smiling and you're laughing, you're probably less likely to be mad and yelling. So what inspired the crayons? And give me some examples of the crayon colors.
Oh God. So I have a line of crayons called Offensive Crayons, and they've definitely gotten me in trouble. I have been banned off Facebook, Reddit, Instagram. Let's see where else. I can't do Twitter ads. Shopify banned me. I've gotten back on, but they absolutely banned me for over a year. That was not fun. So let's see where else. I've been banned. Oh, Amazon banned me. They banned me actually for offending children and Caucasians. That's not a joke. That's literally what their legal team wrote to me.
Children of Caucasians?
Children and Caucasians.
Oh, children and Caucasians.
Which is not wrong. Those are the two most offended groups.
Well, people seem to be more offended for children than children are actually offended.
Generally. I mean, we always want to, quote, protect the children, right?
Right.
But some of the crayon names include things like, more on the lighter side, from Boner Pill Blue to Miscarriage Maroon, White is Privilege. I have some darker ones that I'm probably not going to say on the show that you should just probably go and buy a pack. But I like to have fun with it because at the end of the day, how do we take back stereotypes if we can't, make fun of them, and we can't make fun of the most ridiculous and horrific circumstances out there,
Mm.
So I've gotten definitely in trouble a number of times with these crayons, but you know what? At the end of the day, it's funny because people will say, they'll get really infuriated with like one specific crayon, and I'll say, okay, cool. So I just want to make sure that the rape joke was cool with you, but this particular one.
Is there any poop ones? Is there?
Oh God, no! I'm not childish.
No, 2 girls, 1 poop.
No. Actually, you know what? I do have. I think one of the brown ones in my porn pack is called like. Do I have one that's like 2 in the pink? No, maybe. I don't know. I've now written over like 120 plus crayon names, so I don't have them all memorized, even though I made them all up. Statutory grape.
Oh man, that's perfect wordplay.
A lot of puns, a lot of alliterations.
Oh, that's my lane. I live there. I live on that lane. I live on Pun Lane. I've been known to be called the Pundertaker, but I was given that nickname by Zach Amico on the Real Ass Podcast. He called me the Pundertaker because I'm a wrestler, because like the Undertaker. But what the heck was that? I had a joke that I used to do when I talk about I said my dad's kind of like a pedophile. And I'm like, whoa, not me. Relax, not me. And I did he like left my mom for like a 14-year-old girl when I was a baby. And
so your dad is Woody Allen?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So I said my dad's favorite dish to order at the Olive Garden was the chicken statutory.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's kind of up my alley. I understand where you're going.
I mean, also, I don't know if your dad is or isn't an actual pedophile, but I mean, it's also a way to process trauma and horrific situations that happen to us.
Tragedy plus time equals comedy.
Exactly. How much time? For me, it's about a minute.
So what are your top go-to categories for stuff that you like to watch in porn?
That I like to watch, or just for
Yeah.
like shits and giggles, or that I like to watch when I'm getting off?
Well, both. Why not? If we're gonna go there, why don't we go all the way there?
I mean, let's stick to what people should watch if they want to watch something funny.
Okay. Yeah.
If you've never watched Porn for the Plot before, Wood Rocket they're a production company, woodrocket.com. I love these guys because their whole shtick is we're gonna make parody stuff. The director, Leroy Myers, he's been doing this for years and years and years, and he has come out with some fantastic stuff. He loves puns and he loves great films. So one of my personal favorites of theirs is Fap to the Future. So if you love Back to the Future, Fap to the Future. The first 5 minutes is straight puns. That's all it is. So watch that. It's also 15 minutes of great acting and then great boning. If you want to watch something for the cinematography, go and watch The Big Lebowski XXX. Rent it for like $3. You won't regret it because it's like this is like The Big Lebowski if they inserted sex into all the right places. It's fantastic. And instead of him jizzing on a carpet, someone peeing on a carpet, it's someone jizzing on some VHS tapes. Also, I mean, I love Leroy because of some of the stuff that he's come out with, like 10-inch Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, and I've also like been to the studios and I've seen some of these costumes. SpongeBob SquareNuts. They're horrifying costumes. And you like watch them and tell me you can't laugh.
That's pretty rad. I'm gonna look some of that stuff up. If I can remember.
Nardians of the Galaxy.
Say that last one again.
Nardians of the Galaxy.
Oh man. All right. Look, where's my phone? I don't even know where it is. It's gone. I'm not looking it up. So
Pee-wee's Big Adventure XXX, that is not a Wood Rocket production. I just remembered it because if you watch it, it's the funniest fucking thing that you'll ever watch for just the plot next to Fap to the Future. So download that. And also Tommy Pistol is exactly like Pee-wee Herman in that. It's kind of scary.
Do you think, like, really, honestly, like Pee-wee Herman, his name got ruined because of watching porn?
Yeah.
Like that kind of like ruined the reputation of Pee-wee. We all loved Pee-wee Herman when we were kids and totally got ruined. It's like, that's not very woke. It's not very 2020 of the year that he got canceled. What was that, in the 90s?
Let's see. When did that thing happen with Paul Rubens? Paul and so long. Movie theater incident. That was back in 1991. I mean, back in 1991, this is pre-internet. If you wanted to see porn, you'd go to an adult theater and you would jerk it there, you know? Yeah. And that's what he was doing, minding his own business. And that's when he was arrested. And what he was trying to do was say, hey, to the cop that, if they could let him off and, in exchange, he would, do like, I think he said like maybe a birthday party, or like he was just trying to kind of negotiate his way out of the situation, which frankly, I don't blame him, Well,
I mean, did everyone jack it at those theaters?
Oh, plenty. Dude, it was 1991.
Yeah, that was the point of those theaters. Like, you just keep to yourself. And you, like, why would somebody get arrested for that? That's like why people go there.
Because that's not allowed. It's public indecency. I
think it's like just the amount of pleasure people take in like raping people down. I think that was part of it. There was he got to be the sacrificial lamb to like, we built this person up, and now let's like break this person down. So
I mean, he was arrested for exposing himself in public. And, it was a movie theater. And again, it was an adult movie theater. Everybody else was there who was doing the same thing. Frankly, it was back-to-back skin flicks. I don't know why else people went. They were definitely not porn reviewers. It was not Siskel and Ebert.
like 2 thumbs up. Good job.
And a number of other places.
And other things up. So did you used to rent the videotapes?
No, I happen to be of an age where porn became accessible to me via the internet. And I mean, I definitely had, I grew up with playing around with some bunny ears and trying to catch some Skinamax and porn, and, gosh, I don't even remember his studio name, but adult TV, through cable. But really, I mean, yeah, I forgot what it was. Jeez, it's evading me now.
What it's like the idea in my
That's it.
Yeah, that's what you said.
I was thinking for some reason the security company Vivint. I don't know why.
All right. But like the idea behind it, I mean, I thought that it kind of creeped me out, especially like you just brought up the jizzing on VHS tapes.
I never bought a VHS tape, man.
So I was thinking like those rental store. I mean, I didn't have that either, so I didn't go through that whole situation. But the idea behind like rent, is there like an etiquette behind like, okay, here's a tape. I'm not gonna jizz on this. I'm not gonna touch this with my jizzy hands and put it back in the sleeve.
Dude, you're asking someone like who was definitely not of the age of renting pornos when she was a kid, like from Blockbuster, or definitely not Blockbuster, from like the adult stores. No, they definitely were not. But my point is, I was not of the age then. I am fairly young. I know I look young. It's true.
So
got to watch my porn in private. I had a luxury that older generations could not afford.
So I've got 2 more things, and then I'll send you off. The hot dog and a handshake. You go right off into the sunset. We'll take it home. All right. So what's important to me? What's important to me, and a part of this podcast is this is like timestamps. This is stuff this is all on the record, and this on the record is outliving us. So this is going to live on. Like that's part of the reason we were talking about the episode number and that being associated with your name at this point. On the record, I want to make sure I just let you know that I appreciate your time and how much the currency of effort is way undervalued. And I want to just tell you how valued yours is and how appreciated you are for carving out some time with me, and give you also the opportunity to do what I call audio time travel. Okay, so in this audio time travel, it's going to be, I don't know, going to be maybe 20 years, maybe 30 years from now, someone who cares about you is listening to this exact audio to kind of get the idea of the timestamp of who you are in this moment.
Sorry. I'm just having a hoot as someone finding this in the future. It's like, all right, so the year is 2040. You've clearly found this audio because you're trying to cancel me. And I finally have decided to go into politics. And I make no apologies for anything or any of the recommendations I have made on this show. I want to be very clear about that. Since you are listening to this, future person. So first off, kind of terrible that you're trying to cancel me like this. Because considering I have a whole podcast, I've definitely said worse things on. But good job finding an obscure show that I've definitely forgotten that I've ever done 20 years from now. So congrats. You've definitely done your homework, and you're on the right path to finding my dark secret. Is that good enough?
That's excellent. That was very excellent.
Great.
I want to make sure you know that in my appreciation for you, I want to let you know that I'm happy to be a resource for you in any way. So I'm glad we know each other now and we're friends, and you've been on my podcast. If you wanna hang with me another time, we're doing a check in at some point. I like to do follow ups. In some time, maybe 40 years once you've just forgotten about the show, I'll drag you back up. And any
Show up at a
questions?
town hall meeting,
Right.
bring a
Like,
list of questions to
objection!
prep.
But
Sir, this isn't a courtroom, but okay, we'll allow it.
But yeah, the way I normally wrap it up is I usually say, hypothetically, I've gifted you this show, right? So this episode has been your pilot episode of your new podcast, Evolving with Alice Vaughn. So, in a very Jerry Springer's final thought type of way, you just wrap up what this episode's meant in some little tiny pretty bow, and tell everybody what they can do to become a better version of themselves tomorrow than they are today. And then in your best Alf impression, say, "Hey Willie," just to keep it silly.
Do you not understand how young I am?
Oh,
I
no,
don't know an alpha impression.
No. What do your best SpongeBob SquareBalls impression?
Oh God, no!
Hey,
I'm not gonna do that. I'll do everything else.
Okay.
So you have meant nothing to me, and I hope I've meant nothing to you. So we've mutually meant nothing to each other.
Okay.
Which is also, don't worry, I also tell my parents that. So it means a great deal to me. But thanks for having me on. You guys can find me at all the places at Irrational Blonde on Twitter. You could find the crayons over at offensivecrayons.com. You can find the show over at twogirlsonemic.com. Write out Two Girls One Mic, not the numbers. You won't find me that way, but spell out Two Girls One Mic. Listen to us at all the places. I forgot what else you wanted me to do. I'm sorry. I am not good at this. My memory at this point is shutting down.
So,
Cory, work with me here. What am I missing?
Just share with people, the people who are listening to your podcast, what they can do to be better versions of themselves tomorrow.
Oh, got it. Yeah, I forgot about that whole thing about bettering yourself. Considering I don't do it.
Do as I say, not as I do, kind of deal.
Exactly. I'm downing a bottle of Charles Shaw from Trader Joe's right now, so probably don't do that. That's step one. Step two, definitely don't schedule a business call after you down a bottle of Charles Shaw. Can't go well. And if it does, your boss might have a conversation with you on Monday. I don't know. Drink more water, sleep more. I think everybody needs that.
That was the best piece of advice I ever heard. Thank you.
Oh God. Okay.
Anyway, thanks so much for your time.
We're really ending on a low note here.
Let's for sure. Let's try to bring up the nose here, if we can.
Okay.
So, what's your favorite time travel movie?
Back to the Future.
Yeah. What would you do if you had to travel to your younger self? Like what kind of things would you try to write for yourself?
I would tell her to buy a lot of Bitcoin.
That's
I would tell her start mining that shit now and remember all your fucking passwords on this hard drive. Tell her exactly what to invest in. Buy a lot of Apple and Tesla stock.
do you
Get
think
into Amazon?
do you think that if that was something you were able to do, like if you were able to
Yes,
go,
I would do it.
that wasn't the question. The question was, do you think if you could do that, right? And you could tell if you could travel to tell your younger self what stuff to do, and then they would do it, would you remember you being the person? Would you be the person? Like, would you remember all of the sucky life that you didn't have all the great stuff? Then the traveling back to that, then that all that timeline. Do you think that you'd have full knowledge of all that stuff, or you would just have everything erased from the old memories and just be like from the now I'm the kid who invested in stuff. Like, you know,
Well,
in
you wouldn't
Butterfly,
remember. Yeah, no, you wouldn't remember the past because the past you doesn't exist. You've overwritten the past if you're in this parallel this parallel entity.
right.
So yeah, no,
Isn't
you
your
wouldn't
brain
have
stationary?
any idea of it. And no, I don't want to go through the shitty stuff again. I want to be wealthier. Cory, come on, work with me. I like money.
I like money too. I can't believe that. That's cool.
Also, I am not an expert on time travel. Why are you getting your time travel information from someone who reviews pornography? This is a bad idea.
There must be more time travel porn movies, and I figure I gotta
Look,
let
I'm not
you
Stephen
know
Hawking.
first.
I'm the best I am is Stephen Hawking, okay?
Is he just put cocks in the bathtub, just the fills in the lines.
What?
You know, like caulk
Oh.
in the bathtub.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, I really want to sincerely thank you. I hope that if there's stuff I can teach you, I'd like to be able to do that. If there's any questions you seriously have for me, absolutely, at any point, don't ever hesitate to ask me. If anyone's listening, if this is your first time ever checking out the podcast, go ahead and hit subscribe. Also, go back and check out the other 235 other episodes, and let me know you exist. Comment, like, subscribe, do all the things you got to do on Apple, on Spotify, on wherever you follow stuff, and also follow Alice. Check out her podcast. Throw her some subscription. Support people who are really passionate about the things they're passionate about, and it'll come right back to you. Thanks again for your time, Alice. You're awesome. I hope we can do this again soon.
Thank you, Cory.
Be fun. Have safe. Keep evolving.